Hello, it is Monday, the 12th of July, 2021. You're watching HughesRound. I'm the Hughes. This is the round. Welcome, welcome. So I was a bit late getting set up today. I had to reconstruct my studio all around me. So hopefully it looks like a little bit the way it normally does, except I'm a little bit further away from the camera than it used to be, and I don't think it's particularly straight. It doesn't look like it's looking at me straight, but never mind. I'll sort that out in the next episode. I just wanted to get started. Right, we have Ernie Burns on the line, on the chat even. We've also got Kevin Hegarty saying, hey. We've got Nat100. Ernie Burns saying, first message, I feel great. This makes up for everything. Yes, Ernie, wow. That's wonderful. Jeremy is saying, hola, boys and girls. Pineapple Boy says, how do? Nick says, this should be good. Grimace face. Mark Wharton says, is this another Blow Joe press conference tonight on COVID? Yeah, in which he's going to tell people that it's not going to be the law anymore, that they have to wear a mask in enclosed spaces. They're just going to leave it up to people whether they want to do it or not. And the problem is, all the sensible people want to do it. All the fucking idiots don't want to do it. And the virus doesn't give a flying monkey fuck. It's a virus. It'll just spread. Doesn't care what your political opinions are, or your rather high opinion of yourself that you somehow don't need to wear a mask. But there you go. I had to be up early this morning. I got my second jab. So if I pass out halfway through this live cast, feel free to call an ambulance. Total indifference from now. Can't stand footy, says Mark. That's the spirit. I hear England lost last night. Again. And my prediction of it being 1-1 and England losing on penalties, which is the prediction I always make, came true. Because it's not my first rodeo. Anyway, so, oh God, it's about the football. No offense, but thank God you didn't win. The ex-wife wouldn't have shut up about that. Well, you know, it would have been nice for the lads. And the fact that England, I'm going to say we, because I am English, and they're my team that I support internationally, unless England aren't playing, and then I'm anybody's. No, really, I'm anybody's. The abuse, the vile, racist abuse meted out onto the players last night who missed the penalties is absolutely disgraceful. In fact, in Manchester, there was a mural of Marcus Rashford that's been graffitied with a racial slur, and immediately all these Tory twats all start piping up. The same gobshites that wants to make it very clear that it was okay to boo the players kneeling before the match kneeling in support of anti-racism. So if you're booing anti-racists, what are you? What are you? If you're going the other way to anti-clockwise, what are you going? Which way? Which way are you going? Yeah, you're a racist. You're a racist, father. Does that mean I have to be a racist too? And this behaviour, this booing, was cheered on by Priti Patel, ghoulish, tubular fuckwit, and Boris Johnson. Another fuckwit of the highest order, a man who has presided over 128,000 deaths in the United Kingdom, while the death rate, the death count, the death toll in New Zealand still stays stubbornly at 26. Not 2,600, not 26,000, not 126,000, that'll be the UK, just 26. But I hear you say they're on the other side of the world and they're thousands of miles from anywhere. Well, quite close to Tonga and Samoa, but whatever. Okay, well, let's feast our eyes on Vietnam. Let's do this live. Death toll. Okay. Vietnam death toll. Vietnam war casualties. What? Oh, I need to write the word COVID in, don't I, really? Would help. There was a famous war. Let's have a look. They've had 119 deaths. 119 in a country that borders China, as well as Laos and Cambodia. A country of 95 million people. 119 deaths. Meanwhile, in the UK, we've had 128,000. We're being slightly outgunned by some of the other fuckwits out there. Russia is on 141,000. Brazil is on 533,000. India is on 409,000. And the United States still in the lead with a remarkable 606,000 deaths. Leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Leaderships. Right. Good afternoon, all. You look exactly the same, Graham. Thank you very much, Kevin. Is that after my job? Just thought I haven't grown lizard hands. I am 5G compatible now. Fully 5G. I was 4.5G before because I only had one jab. Now I've got both of them. I can just attach to the internet and download anything I want just by thinking about it. Who wouldn't want that? Personal responsibility, which was on display in bucket loads in Leicester Square yesterday. Yes, when people were smashing the place up, throwing trees around, throwing chairs, climbing up on top of buses. Well done, everyone. US red states are more pro-plague. True, Pineapple Boy. They are indeed. That's very strange, isn't it? They've got this choice between humanity and the most deadly virus in 100 years. And they picked the most deadly virus in 100 years. Draconic, as a non-football fan to our lovely host and anyone feeling grim on the luck and chance of a penalty shootout, my commiserations and hope we would win. We got so close and hope to do it next time. Yeah, but next time, and we should probably talk about this at some point, it's going to be in Qatar. Now, Qatar is a Gulf state in the Arabian Peninsula. And it's a fictional country in that it was just created by probably a petrol company who drew a line around an area and said, oh, we want that. Most of our gas comes from Qatar, actually. Anyway, Qatar has built a load of stadiums in the deserts. This is a country where they routinely get temperatures over 40 degrees C. You're in an air-conditioned room and you go out. It's an air-conditioned building. You go out of it. And you know when you've had something in the oven, right? And you open the oven door and you get that whoosh of hot air in your face. It steams up your glasses, if you wear glasses. Yeah, you know that? Yeah. That's what Qatar's like. So what they're going to do is they're going to slave build the stadium, which they've done, like in the days of old, in Egypt. Oh, actually, they weren't slaves. And technically speaking, the indentured labourers who built these stadiums were not slaves, because they were paying off their passage from India, Bangladesh, Pakistan over to Qatar. So they paid off their passage by building the stadium and then they were sent home. Oh, and they had their passports confiscated. Not all of them. Hashtag not all slaves. But some of them had their passports confiscated until they finished the job. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't leave. While they built a stadium in the desert. Why do you think we got that? Sorry, we got that. Why do you think we have a World Cup next year in Qatar? Why on earth, of all places on the planet, why would you hold it in Qatar? One of the most difficult countries to get to. Let's not forget, it is completely freaking surrounded by the sea, and by the sea I mean the Persian Gulf. Always a fun place to toodle around on your yacht, and a little place I like to call Saudi Arabia. Because that's its name, Saudi Arabia. So how did you get there? How did you get there? Can you get the bus? I did. Yeah. It took me 6 weeks to get a visa so I could pass through Saudi Arabia on the bus. 6 weeks. So everyone's going to fly. Everyone's going to fly to the air-conditioned stadiums in the desert. What a great idea. Take that, environment. Take that, global warming. Concern about global warming. He's going to add to global warming, obviously, massively, incredibly. Building stadiums. Building freaking stadiums. Ah, my word. With slaves. And FIFA signed off on this. Some say they were bribed. You might think that, but I couldn't possibly comment. I still insist PP is a lizardman in disguise, says Euros. Yes. Don't see anything wrong with that. Akbar Ali says, if Qatar didn't exist, it'll be Saudi. Yeah, that's very true. One of the more amusing things about the border with Saudi Arabia, and if you indulge me for a moment, I just want to show you this because I know it's a bit OT and a bit tangential, but it'll all come good. I promise, it'll all come good. Right? If I just bring this over here and bring up the map of Saudi Arabia, because I want you to just get your head around how mad this is, right? So if I go over here and then select that and Saudi, good. There it is. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so I have to fade it across. Just 1 second. Way. Oh, I've also got. Hang on. Oh, I've also got another super chat from Pineapple Boy. Tax avoiding billionaires need a hobby like flying to space or hosting football. What else do you do with the spare money in this unequal world? Well, exactly, mate. Exactly. Alexander Campbell says, having lived in Qatar for a decade, I can testify to this. Qatar decision was all down to backhanders. They are moving the event to November, December, which is going to disrupt everyone's leagues next year. Already disrupted by COVID, obviously. So that's what I mean. Like, Qatar is here. And there was a ferry between Bahrain and Qatar, and then it stopped. And actually, I don't know if you care about this, but I got I got caught out by this when I was traveling because sorry, I'm just going to come back to me for a sec. I got caught out with this when I was traveling because I was in Bahrain, and I thought, that's all right, I can just get the ferry. I can just get the ferry to Qatar. And I was looking. Oh, no, actually, no, it was Q8 to Bahrain, actually. And I thought, I can get the ferry. It's fine. And it wasn't till I actually looked at the days of the week that it was saying the ferry times were, that I realised that in 2010, I was looking at the ferry dates from 2006, and the ferry hadn't been running for years. So that kind of snookered me a little bit because I had to try and get through Saudi Arabia. Read all about it in my upcoming book, Top of the World. It gets a bit more exciting than that, to be honest with you. It's not all about problems with visas. But yes, they're moving they're moving the event to November, December next year. So it's actually not going to be a year away. It's going to be sort of 15 months away, 16 months away. And yeah, the reason that they're doing that is because it's too damn hot. It's just too damn freaking hot. But the amusing thing I wanted to show you, which I will do now, is here. So there's Qatar there, sticking up. And there's Saudi Arabia. Okay, now the mad thing about Saudi Arabia is this is it's an artificial country. It is invented in the 20th century by oil people who wanted, this bit and that bit and this bit over here. Kuwait, they sort of drew a line around this massive oil field here. Qatar, they drew a line around this massive sort of gas field. We get a lot of our gas from Qatar. But what I found most interesting is this line here. This is the line, literally, a straight line in a desert from there to there. Look, it's exactly straight, right? And this is Saudi Arabia. This is Iraq. Now, I bring this up just because there's something about Saudi Arabia that you probably need to know. If you're ever thinking of going to Saudi Arabia to die, I don't mean today in Australian accent, I mean to actually cark it. You cannot be buried in Saudi Arabia. Your remains cannot be put in the ground in Saudi Arabia. Even if you're cremated, your ashes cannot be scattered in Saudi Arabia. It's against the law because you're not a Muslim. Unless you're a Muslim watching this, and then, yeah, that's cool. But if you're not, if you're one of the 6 billion non-Muslims of the world, you cannot be buried in any way, shape or form in Saudi Arabia. It's against the law. But if you go across that invisible line in the desert that was probably drawn up by some British cartographer back in the 1920s or something, because they wanted the oil in one side and not the other, or whatever, then you're okay. You're peachy. You can be buried there. I was just like, is that the maddest rule ever? It's like, no, you cannot be buried in our sacred land. And it's like, but your sacred land was just invented less than 100 years ago. I mean, like, the borders weren't demarcated until quite recently. And what are you talking about? But yeah, basically, can't be buried in Saudi Arabia. True story. Euros Bartoli says, have you noticed how the super rich are racing to get off the planet? Do they know something we're not? We don't. Well, I think we all know that we're a bit fucked when it comes to the environment. But Euros, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. And also, big thank you to Alexander Campbell, big thank you to Pineapple Boy, and to Akbar Ali for the super chats coming in. Thank you. Really appreciate it. But yeah, Saudi Arabia, not the greatest place to live, unless you're white and you live in a compound where you don't leave. For the people who live in Saudi Arabia, there's quite a lot of poverty, which might be shocking to people whose only experience of the Arabian Gulf has been perhaps, certainly the Arabian Gulf, the Arabian Peninsula, has perhaps been Dubai on a shopping trip. Oh, where's the poverty? But the thing is, Saudi Arabia is home to Mecca, where a lot of Muslims, well, every Muslim on the planet needs to go once in their life as part of the pillars of Islam to visit Mecca on a pilgrimage. They have to do that. And it's called the Hajj. And what happens is a lot of people who are Muslim and travel a long way, they get to Saudi Arabia and they get stuck there for one reason or another. They get stuck in Saudi Arabia, and the Saudi Arabians don't look after anyone but themselves. In fact, half the population, they don't look after them either because they're born female. And you see people at the traffic lights, panhandling, like asking for money and stuff. And it's like, oh, why is this happening in this incredibly, stupidly, insanely rich country? Meanwhile, the fighter bombers go overhead on their way to blow up some more schools in Yemen. That's the way it works, eh? He also begged for money before ending his East Coast Rail franchise. He did indeed. He did. Yurosh, wasn't it the same beardy bloke who went begging to the government for taxpayer bailout to his unprofitable airline? He's got a cheek, hasn't he? Yeah, indeed. That's the way it works. If you're rich, you get stuff for free. If you're rich, you get stuff for free. You know when you saw David Beckham fist bumping Tom Cruise last night at the football, yeah. They didn't pay for their tickets. They didn't queue up for hours on the phone waiting to get through. They weren't constantly pressing F5 to refresh the ticket page. Let's get tickets, gotta get tickets. No, they were giving them for free. Multi-millionaires given tickets to sporting events, gigs, festivals, gallery openings, whatever you name it. Once you're rich, once you reach a certain level of, wonga, you never pay for anything else in your life. You don't pay for drinks, you don't pay for clothes, you don't pay for shoes. You get your house furnished, you get your garden gardened. You don't have to pay for it. Someone else will pay for it. And that's the attitude of someone like Boris Johnson. He's never had to pay for anything in his life. Doesn't even know what money is. Doesn't know how it works. What a guy. What a guy to have in charge of our country. Guy who doesn't know anything about money. He doesn't even know they say, they know the cost of everything but the value of nothing. He knows the value of nothing. He doesn't know the value of anything. He doesn't know the value of anything. He doesn't know the cost of anything. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care either way. He just is just a terrible person. Colonel Sir Tatton Moreno Mark Sykes, 6th Baronet. There you go. What? Is that the person who drew the line on the map? Thanks, Carl. Bayerberg. Bread and games, this is what keep the plebeians happy and that prevents revolts. What's a couple of billions when it secures peace to continue plundering said plebeians? Solid investment, massive returns, indeed. What would you rather a billion breaths of fresh air than a billionaire burning his way to the edge of space for a thrill? I'd rather have the fresh air, mate. Graham, you had that mic given to you for now, lol. Well, that's where you're wrong, Jeremy, because I actually had to work really hard to get Daffyd to send me this, because I had to work very hard at making the sound very crap on my show in a desperate plea for help. So I'll come along and maybe just give me a microphone. Yeah. Maybe I'm secretly really rich. I don't know. I just didn't know about it. Maybe I've got like a bank account. They say, is this your only bank account? And you're like, yes. Maybe I've got another one, but I don't think I have. I was given my island for free. But then again, would I have got it if I hadn't gone around the world to every country in the world and gone on the show and did all the things that I had to do to win? I mean, yeah. I mean, free is, I don't know. I think that it's things are a little bit more free when you don't actually do anything at all to get that money. It's okay. So Tom Cruise and David Beckham, you could argue they actually did stuff with their lives. Fair enough. Quite talented in their own respects. Also bonkers, but there you go. But when it comes to someone who just inherited their wealth, like Jacob Rees-Mogg or Boris Johnson or Gove, even though he's adopted, he was adopted by a wealthy family. Lucky little Oliver Twat. Yeah. I find those people a bit more, oh my God, really? You haven't done anything, and now you're giving all this free stuff. But, it's not like other people don't work as well. This idea that the people who've got loads of money, they somehow worked harder, or they're somehow smarter, or somehow better people than the people who work really hard but don't get paid as well, because that's just the capitalist system. Yeah. Branson has his own island too. He does, Necker Island. Qatar used to share a land border with the UAE until Saudi Arabia annexed it. Oh, that's quite interesting. Thank you for that. I'll cover that in the Hues of the World when I get to Qatar, Saudi, UAE. UAE is going to be a bit of a wait. Yes, Necker Island and the British Virgin Islands, the BVIs. So this week on Hues of the World, I'm heading back to Africa, not West Africa this time. I'm heading off to Central Africa for some Central African adventures, where I'll be talking about the tiny landlocked nation of Burundi, just to the south of Rwanda. Anyway, so are there any other interesting snippets that I missed? Because I was just doing a monologue or something. I don't know. John Barleycorn. I bet none of the England fans who created the mess in London yesterday haven't turned up to help clean the place up, unlike the Scotland fans. Yeah, I bet that as well. Mark says, good thing the football is finished now because the media needs to start focusing on the COVID shit show being run by the Tories. Yep. Racists aren't just racist, they're cunts too, says John BC. Absolutely right, mate. YouTube video, the supporters leaving Wembley last night. The place was littered with bottles, glass, and God knows what. There's your public response to people taking personal responsibility, BJ. Well, exactly. And the thing is, the herd mentality just kicks in, doesn't it? People see someone throwing bottles on the ground, they think, oh, I can throw a bottle on the ground as well. But if people see people being responsible and having there's bins and they can put the stuff in the bins, then that's a much better way of dealing with it. And why they don't do that, I have no idea. Just provide enough bins, for God's sake. Glastonbury used to be terrible for that. You could either throw your cup on the floor, which wasn't great for the environment for obvious reasons, or you could carry it for 3 miles until you found a bin, and the bin would invariably be overflowing. Yeah. So you put it on the bin and it'll just fall off anyway. Early Burns, I was bouncing at a pub last night. The hateful charlatans, chattons were rife. Quite glad the toxicity wasn't rewarded. Yeah. Kevin says, I don't follow football, but FIFA are corrupt to the core. Just watch John Oliver's last week tonight on YouTube. There's 4 funny yet very honest segments on FIFA. Yes. Including one where he drink some horrible beer because he said he'll drink a drink of, I don't know, Mountain Dew or something if they got rid of Seb Blatter, and they got rid of him, and so he had to drink this horrible drink. Although I do think he exited on a little bit of how much he doesn't like it. Like if I was on one of those horrible TV shows where they do horrible things to you in the jungle, I would tell them that I'm definitely afraid of snakes because I'm not. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so afraid of snakes. And then they threw me in a pit of snakes. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm always cool there. Unless it was full of cobras. Then I might be in trouble. The kind of snakes that don't bite. Bread and games, solid investment, indeed. This is the worst place to hold a worldwide event. This is from Bridget. Human rights matter. Athlete maze boycott. Yeah. Talking about where we hold these sporting events. I mean, we had the Sochi Olympics in Russia. This is very problematic because they just invaded Ukraine in 2014. You also had the Russian invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 led to the boycott of the Moscow Olympics, I think in 1980. Boycotting sporting events. We've got the Winter Olympics going to Beijing. Should we boycott them? It's a question. I mean, I don't think that they should have been awarded. I don't think those countries should have been awarded those games in the first place. I think that the IOC and FIFA have a responsibility to encourage countries that want to hold sporting events to be beyond reproach. Just like really, really trying hard at places like Qatar and Russia and China. They're not even trying. They're not even trying. Like, China throws people in fucking jail because they say that Xi Jinping looks like bloody Winnie the Pooh. And he does look like Winnie the Pooh. I mean, he looks exactly like Winnie the Pooh. God damn it. Qatar and Latvia are the only maroon and white national flags. The Qatari and Bahraini flags are of the same design with a serrated band, but the Bahraini one uses red and is of different proportions. That is very true. And if you want to get up the colour of maroon on your hex, the hex tag or whatever on HTML or whatever, it is hashtag 80000 8 and 5 zeros. Just in case you need to know that. Richard. Hello, Richard. How you doing, mate? I think Joris will announce at 11:59 p.m. on July the 18th that a further 4-week lockdown is required. Well, I mean, again, let's look at a map. We've got Saudi Arabia here. Let's have a look at Europe. Let's have a look how we're doing in Europe. I mean, cases are rising all over the bloody place at the moment, which is a bit concerning, to say the least. Let's bring this up. Let's have a look at this now. Just make the layers and go to more. Come on, hurry up. This isn't fun for people watching. There we go. So here we go. This is the COVID rates in Europe. We'll just go through them here. Let's bring them up. We've got, this is dynamics. This is updating quite often. The United Kingdom there. Sorry, I have to zoom out a little bit to see the United Kingdom. Disappears otherwise. I don't know why. Can I make those text a bit bigger? Yes, thank you. The United Kingdom there is 46.6 going up. Ireland over here is 10.4%. This is increased. This is the increase of cases. Okay, so Romania is actually going down. Denmark's going up by 9, which is quite a lot. But Germany's going up by 0.9, which is not that much. France is going up. Portugal is going up by quite a lot, actually, 26.2, but nowhere near as much as the 46.6 in the UK. In fact, I can't really find anywhere in Europe where it's as bad. Tunisia is pretty bad, or that's even worse. Tunisia is at 63.6. That's really bad in Tunisia. Zoom into Spain. Now, for some reason, Spain's in different places. And, oh, my God. We had David on the phone last week, and he was saying, please don't come to Spain. Please do not come to Spain because, the virus is kicking off. Now, he's down in Andalusia. There's 22% increase there. But up in Castile over here, this is 53%. And Catalonia, where Barcelona is, that's 72% increase of COVID cases. This is terrifying. This is in a mostly vaccinated population. In all of these countries, the majority of people have either been vaccinated or are on their way to being fully vaccinated. We're planning in 7 days' time to relax all restrictions, all legal restrictions. The legal restriction that you have to wear a mask, unless you have good reason not to. And as someone who, when I'm out with my partner, is exempt from wearing a mask, fuck that shit. I wear it. I could say, if I was a Lawrence Fox twat, I could go, oh, well, I don't have to, because it says there, if letter of the law, I don't have to wear one of these things. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Even if it wasn't the law, I'd still bloody wear one because it saves people's lives. And I just couldn't have that on my conscience. The idea that I spread this bloody disease knowingly, and someone had died as a result. Jesus Christ. What's the situation in the Balearics? Asks Mark. I will find out for you, my friend, because I'm nice like that. Let's zoom in on the. Oh shit! I've I thought I was moving the map, and I wasn't. I was moving the screen that you watch the map on. There you go. It's all right. Where am I? Get right, Graham. Nothing there, mate. We have no data. Unfortunately. Not on Google Maps anyway. You might have to, I don't know, look at that. Another place it's all kicking off is in the Netherlands over here, which is worth looking at. They've seen a 79.3 increase, which is quite devastating. And a lot of us, we were talking about this, weren't we, last week when it was mentioned by one of our viewers who lives in the Netherlands that they tried to ease lockdown and say you don't have to wear a mask or whatever, trying to ease it a little bit, and cases had spiked as a result, the direct result. The virus doesn't care. This is one of the things that, like, I don't know, the Tories find this hard to get their head around. The virus does not give a fuck. It's a virus. All its job is, all its reason for being is to replicate itself and keep replicating itself and keep replicating itself. Kill off a few people, great. Not everyone, because you need to replicate yourself and replicate yourself. And eventually you'll replicate yourself a more deadly variant of the same disease. And then that'll take over. 95% I read of cases in the UK are now the Delta variant, the Johnson variant that he brought into the country. He left it for 2 weeks. He put Bangladesh and Pakistan on the red list because he knew there was a problem. Didn't put Iran or Iraq. Didn't put India on the red list for 2 weeks because he was going to go over there to negotiate a trade deal with Modi. Graham, sorry, but that isn't the increase, but the incidence number per 100,000. Yeah. Is it? I thought it was a percentage. Okay, context. Fair enough. I thought it was a percentage increase on what it was. So the incident number per 100,000 in what's it called? The Netherlands is 70. Well, North Holland actually is 79.3. Okay. The Bonson variant. There's a lot of speculation that BJ may do a sudden U-turn on his planned relaxations due to increased pressure from within and outside his party. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Yeah, but who's he trying to placate? That's the question. I mean, seriously. Oh, you're right. Sorry, Kevin. Not Kevin. Context. Yeah, I'm looking at that now. Map shows new cases per 100,000 people. Okay. All right. So that's new cases. And obviously it's going up. Sorry, I thought it was a percentage going up. Because in the UK, we were looking at a few thousand, weren't we, of cases. Now it's skyrocketed to like a ridiculous number. I should apologise, shouldn't I, for for not being as prepped for today's show as I normally like to be. But like I say, I have to be up early. Unlike everyone else in the nation who's probably having a lie-in this morning, I had to be up to get jabbed and I had to drop the kids off at school and then had a very, very long meeting. But I'm here now, and that's the main thing. Have you seen that there is a variant of interest up north? The Javid-19 variant? No, I've not heard about that. COVID in the UK, 128,425 deaths, 5,121,245 cases. I hope it keeps being referred to universally as the Johnson variant for everyone, forever, by everyone. Blame it on the vaccine. Yes, yes. You see, this is why it gets confusing. Okay, so for the last 7 days, people tested positive rate in England has gone up to, sorry, is this in the UK or in England? I think this is UK. Yeah, it's UK. It's gone up 47,000. And the but no, I don't know the rate people tested positive. The rate per 100,000 people in the UK at the moment is 298.1. I'm really confused now. Any statistics experts out there? Because this is what it's telling me on here on the government website, which I could share with you if I was feeling a bit nice. Let me have a look. COVID, daily summary. Okay, here's the daily summary. Here's the daily summary, ladies and gentlemen. Oh shit. Sorry, I'm trying to make it look nice for you. You've got this stupid HughesRound thing in the corner. Sorry about that. But otherwise, cases. This is people testing positive. The last 7 days on here, it's gone up 47,000 people, which is what I think is on the Google thing. But I think that's the actual, maybe it's the absolute number. But the rate per 100,000 people, this is on the government website, is saying it's nearly 300. It's nearly 300. Whereas on the map here, it's nowhere near 300. It's 46.6. So I don't know. Yeah. People tested positive. Maybe that's just like total. Maybe that's just like all of them. No, 7-day rolling rate by data specimen as of 6th of July 2021. So does that mean that the Google Maps is going to go crazy next in the next? I don't know. But that 47,000 does seem to correspond quite nicely with the number here. I don't know, guys and girls. Yeah, I'm going to leave the jury out on that for the moment. It's the kind of thing that you need to sort of have a good look at over the course of an hour or so, and then go, yeah, I get it now. Hello, Graham, says Taki. Still celebrating Italy's win. Thanks, mate. Has anyone noticed the weird allegiance between the Gammon and the Tinfoil Hat Brigade? Well, it's not a weird alliance. It's not a weird alliance between the Gammon and the Tinfoil Hat Brigade. They're the same morons. Gammon people are morons. Tinfoil hat people are morons. It's just one group. It's just one homogenous glob. Map data might be out of date. It might be. Maybe they update it later. Andrew says, Cuba crisis, end the embargo now. Biden, and stop the Miami major and Cubans from inciting revolution in Cuba. Let them have the COVID vaccinations. Yeah, Andrew, I don't know much about this. Sorry. It's Cuba not being allowed to have the vaccinations because of this stupid bloody embargo against Cuba that's been there since the 60s. Time to get over it, man. The 60s were a long time ago. Just ask the England football team. I went on a fishing trip, went some miles out to sea, says Mike. Hi, Mike. Quoting from the monster there. It is, yes, says Regan Light. The Johnson variant. Yes, let's keep calling it that. Anyway, so meanwhile in Hungary, there's a bit of that was a bit of a segue, wasn't it? Meanwhile in Hungary, the leader who's this guy called Orban, who's a cock. And he is a racist cock as well. And apparently, there's a Chinese university plan. There's going to be a Chinese university in Hungary, and it's freaking all the Hungarians out. Because, if it's something that the Huns like to do, it's invade other people's countries. They don't like people invading theirs. They're one of those, like England. Yeah. Anyway, so apparently the Viktor Orban's opponents are seizing the chance to turn his national rhetoric against him about this Chinese university. Meanwhile, over in the South China Sea, US and China are rattling sabers at each other. And also, in some news that chimes with what happened to Jacob Zuma last week, the top advisor to Jordanian court and member of royal family sentenced to 15 years in jail. So take that, you rotter. And he's the king's cousin. Okay, he's the king's cousin. And he's been done for sedition. There you go. He's been found guilty of incitement against the state and sowing sedition. I won't mind someone sowing sedition in this country, but that's another story. Tinfoil hatter's crazy. That's what they think they say about you. Well, they probably do. I mean, I like it when people tell me that I'm a sheeple, or I just like to do what I'm told. And I'm like, who told me to go to all the countries in the world without flying? Who told me to live on an island for 3 years? Do you know what I mean? And in the sort of Fight Club thing of like, oh, what do we do now? I go to university. Oh, what do we do now? Buy a house. What do we do now? Get married. What do we do now? Have kids. I didn't really go that route very well. I chose a different route. So, some might suggest. But yeah, the idea is that according to most tinfoil hatters and conspiracy theorists, I'm just one of the sheeple. Simon John says the bozo is trying to please everyone. No, you don't have to wear masks. No, mask wearing has not ended. It's advised. Indeed. I'm sure, and it's going to cause a lot of trouble. I mean, it's going to cause fights. Never mind. There's going to be a lot of people going to accident and emergency because they're going to get into fights over this. And then you're going to get other people who are going to get COVID because of this and die. I'm sure the reopening is another case of governing by public opinion to see whether it passes or not with us proles. Yeah, indeed. I want to know about this new variant. There's a lambda variant, isn't there? Which is what's kicked off in Peru, I think, where they have a really horrific death rate in Peru, and it's a particular variant that started. I wouldn't mind someone sowing sedition in this country. Sips cup, Graham, so Kermit. Indeed. I was thinking of that meme as well. Good old memes. Great job lining the inside of your hat with foil. Foiled them, ha. It would be funny if I took my hat off and I did actually have like tin foil on the inside of it. I don't, but if I did, that would be actually hilarious. I might do that. If I ever do like an interview with a tinfoil hatter, I'll just say yeah. Oh, by the way, sorry for starting a bit late today. Normally I don't necessarily get ready and start by 1 o'clock, but I usually get the splash screen up that says HughesRound starting soon, right? Yeah. So I start up my laptop, plug everything in, go to OBS, right? Bring up the splash screen. I was just about to press like go live or whatever, and I got blue screen of death. Thanks, Dell. So I had to wait for my computer to restart. On the positive side, the ones that cause trouble will be easy to hunt down since they won't be wearing masks. Indeed. Maybe that's what some people will do. They'll just have like crime fighting people who will wear masks, will go after the people who don't, like Batman. But public opinion is pro-mask wearing and largely pro-continuing with at least some restrictions. Mark saying, Graham, are you telling us you couldn't get it up today? Wing, wing. Yeah, that's basically what happened. I tried really hard to get it up, and then I got a blue screen of death instead. Runner. Yes, Runner. What? I was on a boat once called the Rum Runner. What else is happening? A wandering elephant finds its way home after 500-kilometer trek. Branson went to space. Investors are thrilled. I think we're a little less thrilled because of the actual state of the planet at the moment. We've got COVID, we've got climate change. We need to address both of these, and we need to do it together, and we need to get these fucking billionaires on board to actually do something about it, especially ones that own airlines. That would be let's sort that out, please. Someone. Australian ad showing COVID patient gasping for air sparks backlash as country battles the Delta variant. Australia's always been good for like really hard hitting ads, like not drink driving or anti-smoking or whatever, they tend to go full, like, oh my god, you like watch them, it's like watching a little 30-second horror movie and you're like left disturbed afterwards. You're like, okay. I won't do that thing that you don't want me to do. So yeah, that's probably quite good news actually. If it's sparked a backlash, you need a blue pill for the blue screen, a blue pill or a red pill. I go take the blue pill, says Neo, and then him and Morpheus go off to the back room for 20 minutes. Anyway, so hey, where am I? So on the BBC, they're reporting about obviously the racist abuse, the sickening racist abuse, which was almost inevitable when a government actually tells its people that it's okay to boo anti-racists. You're booing anti-racism. You're a racist. You're attacking Antifa. Anti-fascism. Yeah, you're a fascist. That's the way it works. You can't be anti-Antifa. You're just a fascist. You're just defending fascism. FA review after fans break into Wembley for final. I don't like the use of the word fans there. I would have put twats. Italy return from Wembley with trophy in hand. Indeed, it's coming Rome. Oh, do you know what though? We're going to have an entire year now of not hearing 3 lines. Yes. Whew. But then once we go to Qatar, we're hearing it all again. If we go to Qatar, we haven't qualified, yes. But yeah, we'll see. There were some fake Australian government ads on YouTube, quite funny. Yeah, I've seen them. Their boss. There's lots of swearing in them. It's very classically Australian. Southgate is keen to lead England to Qatar. Well, if they got rid of Southgate now, that would be absolute insanity, wouldn't it? Let's get rid of the guy who got us to the first final in an international competition, major international competition, for 55 fucking years. Oh, yeah, we'll get rid of him. Like, he got within 1 goal kick away. Not goal kick, sorry. 1 penalty away from winning. Oh, it's painful. That was painful. And when I watched the penalty, by the way, just to talk about the football for a little bit. When I saw Marcus Rashford taking the penalty and he fannied about, I was like, don't fanny about, don't fanny. And then he hit the post. Actually, if he had got it on target, his fannying about would have been a stroke of genius because he wrong-footed the keeper and he dived the wrong way. Ugh. But yeah, pretty bad. Pretty bad. They wasn't fans. Well, yeah, exactly, Meg. I don't like the way that some news stories are reported. I don't like the language that they use because when they want to tell, I think they should call a twat. And when someone's being a gobshite, you should say, gobshites did this. Hooligans, even. You use the word hooligans. Something, not fans. Fans? It's not the right word to use. Southgate has questioned himself. I do hope he stays on. I mean, it would just be mad, wouldn't it? It would just be mad. So yeah, but one thing I'm quite glad about is the weather. Because it was bloody horrible yesterday. It was pissing down all day. It's raining today here in Durham. And I seriously believe that if the weather had been cracking the flags and really, really hot and balmy, people would have just stayed out all night and just smashed places up. Not the right places, not the places that I might like to see, smashed up a little bit. Just they'll go after a Starbucks and a McDonald's and a little cafe on the corner and stuff and smash the windows. Ruin Monday morning for lots of people earning just above minimum wage, which isn't the way to do it. But obviously, unfocused rioting is never particularly a good way of fermenting change. HK, the subs were brought on too late. Didn't get time to get used to the game or the ball. That's true. I did love the way the ball was brought out in the little remote control car. That was so cool. It was just great, wasn't it? Spoons, says John Barleycorn. Don't know what you're referring to there, mate. Although, I'll say, when it was the end of January last year and the gammon were partying because we were leaving the EU, there was a group that wanted to throw some stink bombs around the Weatherspoons in certain places, and I was asked if I would get on board with it, and I said no. Only for one reason, because I knew that it wouldn't be Tim Martin fixing the problem. It would be the people who work at Wetherspoons. And, okay, there's the argument that if you work at Wetherspoons, you deserve what you get, but still, the kids who work in Wetherspoons generally work really hard, and it's not their fault that their leader is, the owner of the franchise is a privately educated, scruffy, Wurzel Gummidge fuckwit who forced us out the EU and now is whinging about a lack of staff. The twat. Whereas stink bombing the event, the Nigel Farage event in Parliament Square, that was fair enough. Especially if one of our friends had managed to procure some very, very stinky strumming fish, which is, what is it, pickled herring or something? Fermented herring from Sweden, which smells of sick, death, shit, and mouldy feet, rotting feet, all at the same time. Oh, and fish. Yeah. So if someone did that, that would be a little more acceptable. Than because no one had to clear that up. You know, it would decompose because it was fish. Or maybe a enterprising seagull might have eaten it. Although maybe seagulls have standards too. Daily Blase. So you may scoff about getting rid of Gareth Southgate, but I did see a post on Facebook demanding his resignation 5 minutes after the result. It was really odd, Graham. It's just weird, isn't it? You know, like, let's burn down the observatory so this never happens again. Joe says, "Hey, we'll take him to Ireland if you that nut. What? We will Jackie Charlton Ireland, right close to winning last time. Yeah, all right then. Hooligans is too tame. Yeah, I know. It sounds like they're just getting drunk and messing about, like the guy who got drunk at Chris Whitty. They're a different class and usually violent. That's thugs. The problem is that just like the word vandal and barbarian is tainted by a little bit of racism, hooligan is a bit racist because it's referring specifically to an Irish family called the Hooligans or the Holligans who famously created problems. And thug is taken from the Indian Thugi cult in India, which were a branch of Hindu that worshipped the black goddess Kali, as anyone who grew up watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom will attest. And they didn't actually film Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom in India. They filmed it in Sri Lanka because the Indians found it really, really offensive. Whereas the Sri Lankans are all very, very, very peaceful Buddhists. So they didn't care. Well, I say peaceful Buddhists. They're peaceful Buddhists when they're not killing the Tamil tigers, wiping them out, of course. But that's a story for another show. Maybe Hughes the World when I get to S for Sri Lanka. I can't believe I'm still... Look, we're over halfway through the year now, and I'm still on B on Hughes the World. So I'm going through every country in the world in alphabetical order. I'm still on the Bs. Once a week since the beginning of the year, I am still on the letter B. I've got Burundi to go. The letter B. And that's only because I moved Burma to Myanmar. Which might have been a bad idea, because if I left it where it was, we could have had Burkina Faso, which is in Africa. We could have Burma, which is in Southeast Asia, and then we could have gone back to Africa for Burundi. In the way that it's happened now, we're going to have 2 Africa episodes in a row, but Burkina Faso and Burundi have very, very different histories, so it shouldn't be too bad. Money talks, says Bayerberg. Well, give me some then. So go on strike. Come on, giving you talking money. Get some. No, I'm joking. Money talks. With a bit of marketing, you can go after Weatherford's business. His employees are not loyal, especially after what he's done to them during lockdown. We need Graham Spoons. Graham Spoons. Well, no, with another consenting adult. Yeah, maybe. Daily Blase says, it was someone I knew, so I found it so odd. It is a bit. Pineapple Boy says, Burundi is going to be a happy one. Yeah, it's not. It's just not. Humanity killing each other and everything else is the beginning of our race. Why change now? Well, indeed. Why does anyone else think that David Frost looks a bit inbred? Honestly, Alex, they all do. Look at Boris Johnson. His eyes are too close to each other. His parents are I reckon they're very genetically close to each other, one way or another. And I reckon he's got webbed feet. He looks like the type. Martin says the foulest smelling chemical I know of is propane isocyanide. That stuff takes weeks to get rid of. Is that a really fishy smelling one, Martin? Because we used to have a mad chemistry teacher in our school, and he used to love like this particular chemical because he knew that at first you could smell it, and then you become nose blind to it quite quickly. So we'd run an experiment where the kids had to basically do something with this chemical, and he would leave the room. He would damn well leave the room and then come back 20 minutes later and go, right, has everyone done the experiment? Great, that's it. And the kids will all go home absolutely reeking of rotten fish that they couldn't smell. And he thought that this was hilarious. He was right. Anyway, I do. But I do, says Daily Blase. I don't know what Daily Blase is talking about there. Draconic. I take my thugs back. Didn't realize it was racially connected. I thought it was a word like goons applied to muscle henchmen in comics and cartoons. Well, I mean, everything's got a little bit of a connotation. I mean, goon. I think that was a slur against the prison, the Germans in the war. They were called goons, weren't they? In the prison wardens in the POW camp. But they were called goons, weren't they? So there's a little bit of give and take. But thugs, yeah, it comes from the thuggy cult. Then again, I mean, the thuggy cults aren't really seen in that great a light in India because they do worship the black goddess Kali and sacrifice animals to her. I've seen a goat being sacrificed to Kali in Nepal, actually, not in India. And it's quite horrific. Absolutely fucking horrific. And why people do it, I have no idea. It's probably the same people who in another life, in another context, born in another country, might go to bear baiting or dog fighting, or people who do dog fighting. Well, absolute animals, like those people who pit dogs against each other and let them bite chunks out of each other and they'll cheer in us. Just the very idea of it makes me feel sick. And it's like, people go, you're a hypocrite because you eat meat. And I'm like, I don't make it fight each other. What the hell? It's like, or cockfights. You go to a cockfight in Thailand or somewhere, and that's grim as well. That's where, two chickens are just set to mash each other up, and it's quite brutal. It's quite brutal. Anyway, Joe says, sorry, what I meant to say is if you want to fire the manager or the British football team. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, we'll have him in Ireland. Okay, come into Ireland. That's all right, Joe. I was trying to make out what you were trying to say, but it missed me, that one. But I do try and change things when I'm reading it out. If there's a little mistake, I try just to glean the meaning from it anyway. But don't worry about it. I mean, I'm not going to pull anyone up on the spelling because God knows it's bad enough when you're leaving a message on Twitter and then you press send and then you reread it and you're like, no, stop. And by then it's got like 2 likes and you're like, no, stop liking it. 3 likes, 4 likes, stop it. And you're trying to delete it really quickly, but then obviously copy and paste it onto a new thing where you spell it correctly. So this, as it's live, and you just type stuff as quickly as possible send, because you're trying to stay on the topic of conversation that we're talking about at any one particular given point of time. Don't worry about it. Seriously, don't worry about it. John says the head of chemistry in my high school was an idiot when it came to experiments. He once filled the classroom with sulfur dioxide, resulting in everyone having to evacuate the science block. John, did you go to the same school as me by any chance? Vincent says it's like a bit like sinister, which comes from the Latin for left-handed. Nowadays, it means up to no good. Yeah, Sinister and Dexter. England is now the leading breeding ground for new variants in Europe. That's from Dr. Eric Ding there. When I was at school, a chemistry teacher did not realise what he had asked us to make. A mate who made it first was a bit of a clown, tried to warn the teacher, was told to shut up. Richard said, I met some aristocrat. They live on a different planet. I think they're just inbred, mate. I think they're not with it. They have a very strange upbringing. They never know that they never experience a lot of the normal human experiences that we just take for granted. They just don't have them. Indeed. So I'm just heading over to Twitter to see if anything interesting is happening on Twitter. On sports trending, we got Neanderthals. That can't be great, can it? Vandalism through the roof. All Neanderthals. Yeah. No, well, I mean, if Vandals is a little bit, racist against the Vandals and the Visigoths, calling someone a Neanderthal's a bit out, isn't it? It's a bit speciesist. Yeah. Please stop. Here we go. G Poptosis says, please stop comparing rising football fans with Neanderthals. Neanderthals never tasted dark fruits, never mind vomiting it up down the front of their jeans. So there you go. Stop calling them Neanderthals. But that's actually trending at the moment. Also, it's the word sack. I mean, what? So when I press on sack, the first one that comes up is about an Egyptian law expanding the right to sack civil servants. Someone saying to sack Natalie Elphick, emphasis on the word thick. She's the MP for like some place down in Kent, Dover, I think, and she's the wife of the old MP who had to leave, Charlie Elphick, because I don't know, he was disgraced former Tory MP, so his wife took over. But it's not a monarchy, honest. It's a dynasty. It's very different. Yeah. So, and we're seeing people who have tweeted stuff. There was this horrible man who tweeted a racial slur. And he's been found on LinkedIn as the commercial building manager at Savills. So now people are calling on him to be sacked. People are calling on Darren Grimes to be sacked, but he hasn't actually got a job, so don't know how that's going to happen. I'm just going through it. There's one saying, there's one talking about people saying to sack Rashford. The thing, sack Southgate. The thing is, though, I'm on my good Twitter, because I'm on the at every country. If you want to follow me, I'm at every country. But what I can do is I can go across to I Follow Bigots, which is another Twitter handle that I have, which I use to follow bigots. That's all I do. Number one that's come up is Danny Baker. He's my top bigot today. It's down to me, says useless Gareth Southgate. Jog on then, mate, would you? That's from Danny Baker. What a twat. We've got Lawrence Fox saying kneeling babies taking off their medals, such an enormous lack of class, which is remarkable from someone who's born upper class and couldn't even fucking finish school because he's so thick. His parents paid £30,000 a term, a year for him to go to Harrow, and he couldn't even finish school. He was that thick. It's quite impressive, actually, being that stupid. Let's have a look. What else is here? Savills have actually responded, saying an full investigation be carried out in regards to this unacceptable incident. I bet he says that his account was hacked. That's the guy who tweeted a racial slur. Piers Morgan, he's a cock. Although he's written something fairly decent for a cock, for a right-wing cock. He's written, I admire every player who steps up and shows the ball to take a penalty in a game that important, especially when you're just 19, 21 and 23. You missed when we lost, but you've all got guts. Okay, well, that's quite nice, isn't it? And then let's see what some other gobshites are saying. We've got Oliver Dowden, who is now isn't he the culture secretary? What's it called? Culture, Media and Sports Secretary. He's now he's sharing the anger at appalling racist abuse of heroic players. But don't go out, right, and pull down a statue of a slave owner who oversaw the violent deaths of over 20,000 black people. Do not pull that down, because if you do, Oliver Dowden and his mates are going to be onto you and they'll give you 10 years in jail, which is more than a lot of people will get in this situation. I don't think the guy from Savills is going to get a 10-year jail sentence. Liz Truss saying it's coming home. Oh, God, Piss off. Would it be ungenerous? What? Unwarranted, yes. Wrong, yeah. I don't know what Simon Hall's saying there. And then, we got some dickhead saying we're avoiding the football because they're taking the knee. I can't scroll through this anymore. I hate going onto this account. I only usually go there if there's someone that I've got to drop. You know, I've just got to get rid of someone who's on my feed, and I say, look, stop following me. I'll block them on every country, and then I stop following them when I follow bigots. The guy at Savills deleted the tweet and has closed his Twitter account. He's a bit late. He is professional toast. He is a bit like that woman who did the very, very off-colour joke about going to Africa and hoping she doesn't get AIDS, who was sacked before her plane touched down in South Africa. Excessive health and safety is a typical dog whistle for right-wingers, even concerning schools. They might feel differently if they went to my school, where at least 2 kids almost blew up a science lab by turning on all of its gas taps. Jesus Christ, Jew. Fucking hell. Well, no one can claim discrimination for it, but it's a bit crass. Twitter is flooded with videos of gammon fighting each other. Maybe instead of football GB, we could switch to UFC. Well, they wouldn't be ultimate, would they? It would be like FFC, like fat fighting fucks. FFF. Fat fight. Should we watch the fat fighting fucks? Yeah, come on, let's do it. Can you imagine the Brexit mob if England had won? Yeah. If it was just the gammon fighting or the gammon, then that would be more acceptable than the reality of what happened, which was that there was lots of gammon attacking people who were wearing Italy shirts or attacking people for speaking differently or whatever. So it wasn't always gammon on gammon violence, which is bad enough, but I mean, kind of funny also at the same time. Darwin lending a hand in some way. Damon says Charlie Elphick currently in prison for 3 counts of sexual assault. Well, there you go. And his wife has taken over his post. Well, that's nice, isn't it? 3 counts of sexual assault and he's in jail. Fucking hell. Same Danny Baker that whinged about innocently dressing up monkeys. That Danny Baker who commented about national disgrace should take a look in the mirror. Yes, that really unfunny twat who may have been responsible for the death of Bob Marley. Strange but true. Reagan Elite says health and care bill need to keep out for will allow more of the NHS to be sold off. Second reading is on Wednesday. Yeah, and Labour need to be making more about this, but I'll probably get through like the Justice Bill got through. The guy at Savills deleted his tweet. It took less than an hour after the game for the bigots to end the veneer of English unity. Well, yeah. My other Twitter account is GB News Certainly. Following all the usual suspects, it's a different world closely resembling a cult. Indeed. I really wish the right would produce some generally funny comedians. Well, they can't, because a right-wing comedian is always punching down, and that's just not funny. A comedian coming on the stage and making fun of poor people or making fun of disabled people is not funny. It's just not. It was never funny. It was horrible. It was just not good humour, just horrible humour. And the best humour, the kind of humour that I like is the stuff that punches up. I mean, it might comment on the absurdity of it all. I like satire, I like brassai, and I do like awkward comedy. I like The Office, I like extras. But yeah, generally speaking, I like stuff that punches up rather than punches down. And I do feel like any sort of right-wing comedy always has that problem, because it's like, ha, single mothers, eh? Aren't they lazy? Well, exactly. So I'm going to wrap it up soon because, as you can hear, I'm still got a sore throat, and I had me jab this morning, so that's going to be my excuse. But I will head over to Discord. Some of us watched the match last night on Discord. I watched it up to the point where I was told what was going to happen a minute before it happened, and I was like, oh, fuck this. Shut it down and just watched it on TV so as not to spoil the rest of the game. But if you go over there now, no one's going to spoil anything, except, I don't know if you haven't seen the latest episode of Rick and Morty. Maybe they'll spoil that, but I will try not to because I haven't seen it. Gammon share that Alf Garnett YouTube clip on social media. Generally don't get the point. Yeah, the Alf Garnett was a piss take of that kind of working class Tory knobhead. That's what Alf Garnett was, and people go, "Oh, he's great, he's great." No, he was a caricature. He was a joke. Like Dougal was a joke. Jim Davidson had several TV shows. He did. His big break. Oh, it was hilarious. And he had a lot of friends who were black. He had a lot of. I hate Jim Davidson with a passion. Awful person. Yeah. Although Jim Davidson, this is the Jim Davidson era of British history. His ilk have totally overrun the asylum, unfortunately, and causing people to die left, right, and centre, and for the horizons and opportunities of our children to be diminished forevermore, and possibly for the end of the UK coming, which I can't see that slowing down. I really can't. Danny Baker denies Bob Marley rumour. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? Hit the like button, says Just Me and You Videos. What a good idea. Daily Blase says, fabulous show, as always, Graham. Oh, thank you very much. Have a fantastic day, everyone, too. I was feeling I was a little bit below par today, because obviously little tiny bit under the weather. Football, hangover, COVID jab, and it is actually raining. So, like before you go, guys, says Jeremy. That'd be good. Jim Davidson got banned from a charity that raised money for ex-army veterans. Sounds like something he'll do, because he's a twat. Right, so I'm going to invite you over to the Discord server. So if you want to come over for a quick chat, usually you get a handful of us, go over there after the show. We talk about stuff, maybe talk about the football a little bit, but maybe not if people don't want to talk about it. You can join in the chat. I'll be there. And you can join in the chat. Nine Worlds from Drew says, isn't it just weird when people don't get satire? I had some German randomly message me on Instagram yesterday condemning me for the laser attack on Schmeichel in the Denmark game. Satire is difficult to get right, I'll say, in their defense. Just because I've seen a meme of mockingly accusing Boris of doing it. Well, yeah. Maybe they thought you were a Boris fan. You've got to be very delicate with, well, not delicate. You've got to be good with satire. You've got to, it doesn't translate very well, I don't think. Unless you get it, you don't get it, and it'll make you angry because you're like, what the, why? Yeah, difficult one. Inconsequential. I hit the like button. Just haven't been saying anything. That's okay. Thank you, Inconsequential, for hitting the like button. I genuinely appreciate it. David stand up. He says, hi. Hello. All right. So the link to the Discord server is here. Discord chat. If you've not been on Discord before, it's like a bulletin board where you can chat, text like this. It's like this. You can just type stuff. Or it's got like Zoom capability, so you can have a sound conversation, or you can have a visual conversation. You can actually come up on the video if you want to. You don't have to do that. You can listen in. You don't have to actually say anything. It's cool. Draconic says, I only watched Big Break for the snooker and John Virgo. Davidson was unfunny to me back then, and it only got worse in my humble opinion, or honest opinion. Does it stand for humble? Does it stand for honest? I have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up about now. Hola, Graham. ¿Cómo está mi ginger favorito? Favorito. I think that means favorite. My favorite ginger. Bueno. Pero, I don't know the word for throat. I don't know the word for sore. Mi mal. I don't know. I'll get going on my Spanish phrase book, and I'll get back to you. Ken M has given me the thumbs up, which is always good. Human in a second language is difficult, says context. Also, context is important as well. Context. I used to like the trick shots. Says now 100. Look, this isn't confessional. If you enjoy Big Break, that's, it's in the past. Just let it go. Just let it go. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the super chats. I wasn't really expecting any super chats today, so that was really wonderful. I was kind of expecting everyone to go, Graham, wake up, wake up, wake up. But I am heading over to the Discord server in a moment. One sec, just make another cup of tea because I'm out. Hang on. Okay, I'm out of tea and water, so I better go and replenish. Vamos to Discord, amigos. Yes, let's head over to Discord. My second jab didn't do anything to me. Hope it passes by you too as well. Yeah, I could barely feel it. I could barely feel it going in. I had years ago. I had a problem with my nerves in my legs, and they did this test. At the Royal Hospital in Liverpool, and they put these needles in my leg, and basically they pushed it in really, really far, and then they pushed them in. They pushed them in even further, like they'd gone in like this much, and they pushed them in, so they touched the bone. They touched the bone in my leg, and honestly, it was the worst thing ever. And since then, and they also put electric currents, not through the needle, but like through my leg, and to see my leg twitched to check the nerves and everything, and oh my god, like just getting a little injection now is nothing. I could be a junkie. Just like in Requiem for a Dream, only with 2 arms. Right, before I go and spoil any 20-year-old movies anymore, I will say thanks for watching, and I will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock for another round of HughesRound, and until then I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.